Awesome. Hey kiddos, in this video we're going to go over how to calculate the surface area of a rectangular prism. So we see the following and we are told to label the areas of the three faces showing on the rectangular prism. So we want to label the following. So the area of this face here would be the width, which we see, times the height. So this would be equal to width times height. Whereas the area for this face here, which we can see is the length of the rectangular prism, it's the length times the height. So the area here, to find the area, whatever the length is, and you'll see that they put the L in a cursive so that we recognize that it's an L and not accidentally a 1. So it would be length times height. What about this face here? Well, the face here, let's use this. Well, we see it's the length. So this area here would be the length times the width. So we've got the width times the height. We have the length times the width. And then we have the length times the height. How many faces are there on a prism? Well, we have the front of the prism. We have the back of the prism. We have the left side of the prism, the right side of the prism, and then we have the top of the prism and the bottom of the prism. So there are 6 faces in total for a rectangular prism. And then finally, how could you algebraically represent the surface area of a rectangular prism? Well, surface area is us just adding all of those faces, those 6 faces that we just mentioned, adding them together. And so algebraically, if we take, for example, the width and the height, which is the left side of the prism, depending on the positioning of how this is right now, there are 2 of them. So it'd be 2 times whatever the width is times the height. Then we would add that to, if we were dealing with this front face over here, there'd be 2 of those because there's a front and there's a back. So it'd be whatever the length and height is times 2. So length times height times 2. And then we'd add the top and the bottom, which is right here, which is the length and the width. It'd be 2 times whatever the length is, length times width. So we find the area of the top, that's the same as the bottom. Find the area of the the left side, that's going to be the same as the area of the right side. And find the area of the front of this rectangular prism is going to be equal to the area of the back of the rectangular prism. And by adding all of those up, we would be able to find the surface area of this rectangular prism. So the first thing, or first key point that you should write in your notebook, kiddos, is that a rectangular prism has 3 sets of congruent faces. And this is what we see here. The front and the back are the same. The top and the bottom are the same. And the left and the right are the same. So once again, a rectangular prism has 3 sets of congruent faces. And so to find the surface area of a rectangular prism, we just add all of the faces together. And because our faces, they have 3 sets of congruent faces, whatever the front is, times 2. Whatever the top is, times 2. Whatever the sides are, times 2. And that's going to lead us to our surface area for a rectangular prism. Great. Let's move on to the next question to test the conjecture to see whether or not this holds up every single time.